Welcome back to Down With It. We got a little bit of rain today, but I've been dying to get this carbon fiber spoiler on, so we're gonna see if we can power through it, not let a little rain stop us. Show you how I go about it in case anybody else with a Chevy SS sedan is doing a rear spoiler swap. So start out with washing the boot lid, get that ready, and then we'll pull the trunk liner so that we can access the 3 nuts that hold the OEM spoiler on. And come on with me, let's get after it. Hopefully some of you guys got some good deals on a spoiler on a Black Friday deal, and you're looking for information on how to do the install without screwing it up. And if you're anything like me, you'd rather do it yourself than pay somebody else to do it, or you've had bad experiences with other people doing stuff on these very rare cars, and you just prefer not to let somebody else touch it. And if you watch my last video, you'll see I haven't had the best luck letting anybody else do anything on my car. For some reason, it seems like they always have to screw something up, so I'd just much rather do things myself. As long as I'm capable of doing it, I'm gonna do it. So the reason why I'm washing and cleaning and drying the car off is because I want to make sure that when I apply the painter's tape a little bit later, that I don't have any grit that can get under the tape and maybe scuff the paint while I'm using my fishing line and trim tools to cut through the double-sided tape and pry up the spoiler. When I ordered this spoiler, unbeknownst to me, it took well over a year for me to receive it from the maker, and I was so excited when I did receive it that I decided to do an unboxing video, and that's how I launched my channel. Now that the weather has finally improved enough for me to be able to do this installation, I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing how it looks once it's installed. So I want to thank everybody who's been here from the beginning and stuck around to see me finally install the spoiler. So here's a list of the tools you'll want handy while you're watching me get prepared. You'll want a trim tool to remove the body clips, a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the little hook for the cargo net, a 7mm socket to remove the trunk handle, and then you'll want a 10mm socket to remove the 3 nuts on the underside of the spoiler. So while I'm waiting for the rain to stop, I'm going to pop the trunk, pull out the trunk liner, voila! You got a little slot there where you stick a flathead screwdriver in it. So you just pop that guy up through there. This guy is held on with these 7mm X heads and little trunk net hook, Phillips head screwdriver. So get those out of the way. Your trunk liner comes out, and then you can access the 3 nuts that hold the OEM spoiler on. I heard all kinds of horror stories about these nuts coming off and getting lost in the trunk. So want to make sure that you find a way to make sure that the nut stays inside your socket, and you take it out carefully. I'm going to give you a better look at what the nuts look like before I start taking them off. I didn't show it, but I put some tape in the socket to keep the nuts in place. So probably can't see it, but right in there was the center nut for the spoiler. And then right in there was the right side and the left side. If you don't hold on to those very well, they'll drop down into the trunk. And I heard it's a real nightmare to get those out. So we don't have to take the tail lights off like I thought. So that's one step I don't have to do. So now we can shut the trunk. And you can see I've gone ahead already and put my painter's tape on there, so I can start pulling the double-sided tape off. So what I'm using here for this is a couple of wooden dowels that I drilled holes through so that I could push through a little fishing line, tie it in a knot, and then use the little dowels for hand handles to saw back and forth and cut through the double-sided tape. And I've taped off the deck lid so that I don't mar it while I'm doing that. Now, what I didn't see in the other SS spoiler videos that I watched was that there are a few locating pins in addition to the 3 studs that hold on the factory spoiler. So you'll see in a minute as I'm sawing through, I'll run into one of these, and essentially it cuts off my fishing line. And at that point, I've already got most of the double-sided tape cut. So I'm just going to go ahead and use one of my trim tools and separate it by gently prying along the edge of the spoiler to pop it up. So it looks and sounds worse than it actually is. What I'm doing is I'm just applying a little bit of forward pressure to cut through any of the residual double-sided tape, and then applying a little down pressure on the trim tool and trying to get it to pop up and release. Right here, you can hear the popping sounds of the spoiler releasing from the trunk lid, and it's going great. A few more pops and you can see the spoiler is free of the trunk lid, and it's going to come off real nice. I was able to do this because I used painter's tape to protect the outlying area and a non-marring trim tool, so I didn't have any adverse scuffs or scrapes on the paint in this process. I highly recommend the painter's tape and some non-marring trim tool. Alright, once you've gently sawed through that with your fishing line, you can use a trim tool like this one. I chose that one to gently pry up the spoiler so you can pull it all the way off. I went ahead and froze this image and circled 3 of the 4 locating pins, and then placed arrows at the 3 mounting studs. So this is what you're going to see underneath it. So you can see we're going to peel off the tape and clean off the adhesive and get that ready for the new spoiler. So I like to get the adhesive off, just working as much of it off by hand before I add any of the goof off and chemical cleaners. So that's how I get most of this off. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Actually didn't take too long to roll up most of the adhesive into a ball there. The rest of what you see here is just a bunch of road grind and probably some pollen. I'm going to stuff some microfiber towels on the back side here to soak up any water so I don't fill up my trunk while I wash this off. Okay, there we have it. We got the tape off, the double-sided tape, and we're ready to wash off the crud. So when I say plastic razor blade, I literally mean plastic razor blade. You can find these on Amazon or eBay, and they're really useful. They're similar to the non-marring trim tools, and they help get adhesive off the paint. So now you can see there's still a little bit of double-sided tape adhesive there. So that's where we use the plastic razor blade and the tar remover. Now we can give it a test fit. So what I'm looking for when I'm test fitting it is that I'm making sure that everything sits flush and flat, there isn't any unsightly gaps, and everything lines up properly. After the test fit, I use a 50-50 rubbing alcohol water mix and clean up the surface so that my double-sided tape adheres without any issue. One of the things that I didn't do that I should have done was measure off the top of the trunk to the tips of the spoiler and then placed a piece of painter's tape so that it gave me an easier point of reference to make sure that everything was aligned properly. I would definitely recommend cutting some small pieces of Flex Seal tape to cover any of the remaining holes that your spoiler installation isn't utilizing to prevent water from getting into your trunk. Went ahead and put the double-sided tape off camera, and I did my very best to make sure it was as watertight as possible. The thickness of your double-sided tape will depend on the fitment of your spoiler. It just depends on how well it fits. Got the back of the car cleaned off and it's all dry. Now we're gonna fit it on there, peel the double-sided tape, and put it all back together. Peel the backing off a little bit, give me a head start. Oh. And here's where having the painter's tape to locate the tips of the spoiler would have came in real handy. I didn't use it, but fortunately everything lined up real well and I managed to do it without it, but I definitely recommend it for anybody doing this for the first time. Here we go. Okay. Moment of truth. On there. Now we take the supplied nut and washer. The supplied nut and washer on this, it's an 11 millimeter. Add that to the list of tools. Well, got a little bit of water in there. There it is. Let's put the washer in first. Fingers crossed. Okay. Grab the socket. Alright, so make sure you got an 11 millimeter deep dish. Don't over tighten it. It is carbon fiber. Just snug it up there. You got your double-sided tape on it. There you go. All right, let's put it all back together. I'll wash it up and show you guys what it looks like. Do this in reverse now. Pretty painless installation here. I like it. Last body clip. Everything's seated like it's supposed to be. Voila. That looks badass. Let me wash the car up for you, and then I'll give you a nice little look at it. I did it. There it is. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, sticking around to the end. If you haven't already, please smash the like button, subscribe, share it out if you can, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next video. Y'all have a great day.